This experiment demonstrates how to utilize mass spectrometry to monitor hydrogen-deuterium exchange associated with protein structural changes that lead to activation states. First, cleave protein kinase Pak2 with caspase-3, and then activate Pak2 by autophosphorylation using ATP as a substrate. As a second step, digest Pak2 with pepsin and analyze the proteolyzed Pak2 fragments by tandem mass spectrometry. Proceed to analyze hydrogen-deuterium exchange patterns of Pak2 by MALDI-TOF monitoring of the deuteration level of each Pak2 fragment. The precise level of hydrogen-deuterium exchange using MALDI-TOF analysis provide important insights into caspase-3 cleavage and autophosphorylation of Pak2.
This method can help answer questions of protein dynamics, such as protein conformational changes, protein-ligand interactions, and protein-protein interactions. The main advantage of this technique over existing methods like HDX-LCQ mass spectrometry is instrumental. This procedure does not require an HPLC-linked mass spectrometry to analyze HD exchange results, and the procedure is easy to operate.
To cleave 0.6 micrograms of Pak2, add caspase-3 and incubate the reaction at 34 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Verify Pak2 and complete cleavage of Pak2 by analysis of products by SDS page. For the activation reaction, add the cleaved Pak2 to 20 microliters of activation buffer B and incubate at 34 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Use SDS page to confirm autophosphorylation by migration of the P34 and P27 fragments. First, wash the pepsin conjugated agarose beads twice with 1 ml of 0.1% trifluoroacetic acid. Dilute 2 microliters of 10 mg per milliliter Pak2 in 100 microliters of 0.1% TFA. Add 30 microliters of washed pepsin conjugated agarose beads and incubate for 5 minutes. Proceed to equilibrate a reverse phase HPLC C18 column with 0.1% TFA at pH 2.5. Now, load the pepsin, digest, and dilute using a linear 100-minute gradient. Collect fractions every 2 minutes. After drying the HPLC fractions with a speed vac, resuspend the samples in 5 microliters of acetonitrile and 0.1% TFA at pH 2.5. As an initial screen, analyze each fraction for peptides by MALDI-TOF. For all fractions containing peptides, identify the fragments by tandem mass spectrometry. Use MS product function in Protein Prospector to match daughter ions and the theoretical MZ ratios based on the primary sequence of Pak2. First, equilibrate all solutions and reagents for hydrogen-deuterium exchange. Initiate the hydrogen-deuterium exchange by adding 18 microliters of buffered D2O to 2 microliters of 10 mg per milliliter Pak2. Perform reactions in triplicate over a time course. Quench the hydrogen-deuterium reaction with 180 microliters of ice-cold 0.1% TFA at pH 2.2. Now, distribute 100 microliter aliquots of hydrogen-deuterium Pak2 to each 30 microliters of activated pepsin conjugated agarose beads. Incubate this pepsin digestion on ice for 5 minutes, vortexing every 30 seconds. Effectively terminate the digestion reactions by centrifugation to remove the pepsin. Rapidly freeze the samples in liquid nitrogen. For MALDI-TOF analysis, prepare the matrix and store at 0 degrees Celsius. Partially thaw each sample quickly. Mix 1 microliter of sample with 1 microliter of matrix. Then, spot on a 4 degrees Celsius MALDI target plate. 30 seconds prior to MALDI-TOF analysis, apply a moderate vacuum to the plate to dry the spots. Continue to acquire MALDI-TOF mass spectra. Average 100 scans in 2 minutes. Proceed to use the Data Explorer 4.0 computer program to calculate the deuteration of each fragment. Then calculate the back exchange based on the ratio of the actual incorporated deuteron number at 24 hours of hydrogen-deuterium exchange divided by all possible exchangeable sites, which are the backbone amides except the N-terminal amide. In this example, caspase cleavage and autophosphorylation are verified by SDS-Page Kinase staining. The non-phosphorylated inactive Pak2 is a single band of 58 kilodaltons. Caspase cleavage of Pak2 is complete and produces two fragments, P27, the regulatory domain, and P34, the catalytic domain. Following autophosphorylation, the migration of autophosphorylated P27 and P34 shows an overlap on the protein gel due to the retarded migration of the fully phosphorylated P27 fragment as compared to the non-phosphorylated Pak2. This mass spectrum shows a time course of deuterium incorporation for inactive Pak2. The MZ peak 1697.85 is composed of multiple isotopic peaks, as shown by the shift of the mass envelope over time. The red dotted line indicates the average of the mass envelope, and the shift of the mass envelope shows the deuteration of a peptide.
Once mastered, this technique can be completed in 2 days if it's performed properly. Don't forget that working with liquid nitrogen can be extremely hazardous, so take precautions, such as poking a hole on the cap of the 1.5 ml Eppendorf tube before putting it into liquid nitrogen.
Proteins are the tiny machines that run everything. So how do we actually watch them in action? You see, proteins are constantly moving, so how can we possibly watch this incredible molecular dance? Well, figuring out these movements is absolutely key to fighting disease and designing new drugs. The trick, it turns out, involves a clever swap using something called heavy water. It's a technique called HD exchange. We just swap light hydrogen for its heavy cousin, deuterium. Okay, so the exposed parts of the protein swap super fast. The protected bits inside, much slower. And right there, that difference in speed creates a map of the protein's accessible regions. So the protein's been labeled. Now, how in the world do you read that map? First up, an enzyme called pepsin acts like molecular scissors, chopping the protein up. This gives us a bunch of smaller pieces, called peptides, which are way easier to handle. Next, a mass spectrometer. Think of it as a super precise scale, weighs every single piece. And this method has a huge advantage over NMR. Why? Because it works on any size protein. Okay, let's get specific. The tool we're talking about is a MALDI-TOF mass spectrometer. You can think of it as a really practical alternative to the more common lab setups. So that's perfect if you don't have certain gear or if you're tackling really tricky proteins. All right, but does this thing actually work in the real world? Let's check it out. Yep, researchers used this exact method to study a really important protein kinase called Pak2. It let them watch exactly how the protein changed shape when it was being activated. And the takeaway? The method works. It's a legit, practical tool for scientists. So this just opens up a whole new way of seeing things. What else will we discover?